Yes, I do in fact still make PvP videos. This video isn't just about playing on a coordinated team. This will apply to solo queue as well, but we're going to get to the more universal stuff by starting off talking about callouts. It's really common to hear on comms that someone is using or planning on using a special. People seem to generally have the idea that that's a good thing to let their team know about. I think a lot fewer players, though, will be able to answer me if I ask them, what did your special callout tell your teammates to do? Let's say I'm throwing a Booyah Bomb. What can my team do to make that Booyah Bomb get the most value it can? Well, unless the enemy team is already cooped up in a corner and trapped, the enemy players are going to be able to escape being splatted by swimming away. If you just throw this thing at them without any follow-up, and it's not doing something like stall the objective, you're probably wasting a special. Your teammate's response is the source of that follow-up. Now, if your teammates end up going down before they're able to provide this follow-up, that's not doing anything for you. So one aspect of this callout could be, I'm about to have Booyah, stay alive. That's something that not a lot of lower or mid-level teams are doing right now, is telling their teammates stay alive to wait for this special, to wait for this advantage, this opportunity to go in and follow up, because if they go down before the follow-up happens, it's probably a wasted special, and we've just lost a fight and a resource. What does that follow-up need to look like? Well, the enemy team is going to be running away from the Booyah Bomb, and they're not going to be able to fight back because they'll be busy running. If your teammates are there to mop up the fleeing opponents or take the space they're vacating, now you get value out of the Booyah Bomb that's more valuable than the Booyah Bomb damage and paint. Maybe the Booyah isn't being thrown at the target of the push, but it's being thrown at a player who is keeping you out of somewhere you wanted to go, and now you're able to take free shots at the players that they were protecting. But that window your teammates have to work with is really short. So if you throw the Booyah Bomb and your teammates have to react to it, they might not get there in time. This is why I always tell people to call where the special is landing when they use it, so your teammates know where to push. And now we're getting to the answer to my question from before. What did your teammates need to know about your special in order to follow up on it? When you called out you were using your special, what did that mean? What did you want your teammates to do about it? Think about the problem of just calling out a player location. Great, cool, there's a zap on left stack, but what do you want me to do about that as your teammate? Does that mean you want me to push them? Does that mean that I shouldn't go carelessly wandering into that area so I don't get splatted? Does that mean I need to run away from that spot because we're down in numbers and we can't afford to fight right now? Sure, a lot of the time, those pieces of information aren't going to be communicated quite as explicitly because specifying takes more words, but things like urgency and repetition go a long way toward letting someone know whether this is a push callout or a watch callout, for example. With specials, you often have a little more time because this is a big important set play and it's worth taking an extra second to make sure everyone knows the plan. But also, you probably still want that sense of urgency to the callout if there's something you need your team to do with your special. I'm booyahing right, or I'm booyahing push mid, are going to be way more helpful than just I'm popping booyah. Because now, this isn't just a Booyah Bomb, it's a coordinated team play. Even if you're not on comms with teammates to tell this to, the thought process behind figuring out what to tell your teammates is something that should inform your decision about where and when to throw the Booyah Bomb. You may not be able to tell your teammate to set up on one side of the map to follow up once you throw your Booyah Bomb in solo queue, but you definitely can throw it knowing that your teammates are about to fight for a certain part of the map. If you throw it close enough to a teammate who's looking that way, you'd better believe that they're going to give you that follow-up you're looking for at least some of the time. Your decision to use the special should be motivated, in part, by your teammates' positioning, not just whether you think you can get individual value out of that special. Keeping you safe or getting a splat can be great, but if you can use your special to create an impact for your teammates, a macro-scale impact that doesn't just help you as an individual, but changes the game state for everyone, That's going to do more for you in the long run than getting lucky that the Dynamo player couldn't paint their feet in time to get out of the booyah radius every once in a while. If it's an aggressive special, look at the space your team needs to control to play the objective, and think about which enemy players are stopping them. Those are your priority targets. Think about when your team is going to start a fight and what angle they'll be coming from, so you pinch the opponents and make it harder for them to avoid you. If it's something like a tacticooler, think about when your team wants to fight and where that's going to be, and position it in a way that facilitates that idea of the push without forcing your teammates to risk being splatted to pick it up. I'm sure, whatever special you play, that you've got an idea of what it can do, but work on factoring your teammates' ability to use that special into your decision about where and when to put it out there. Special coordination is one of the skills that correlates best to a team's success, because special coordination really just comes down to taking motivated, advantageous fights together. If your team feels like they're playing slowly and just kind of waiting for advantages to happen to them, if there isn't a special being popped by your team in the first 15 seconds of a match, if you feel like your team isn't fighting together, try working on building an offense around one of a couple key specials on your team. When that special goes out, if you know what to do to work with it, you'll find yourself making things happen a lot more often and feeling like things are happening to you a lot less. When your special is put out there with your teammates in mind, you will be creating advantages for your team instead of just throwing it out there and hoping for the best.